Guys, can please anyone suggest? Because I've tried to contact Jerome Corsi and Roy Potter and all these people that's supposed to be breaking all this QAnon stuff, and I've contacted them all. I said, well, you're reading all these codes wrong. This is my field. This is what I can do. I can look at numbers and symbols and codes and crack them. And nobody won't. Can people that watch my channel please contact these people and tell them to put me on the radio show, because they're not cracking these codes right. This guy uses, for example, I was listening to him today. He's using things like movie scenarios. There's no one knows how to crack codes in movies better than I do. He uses numbers and letters, symbols that I know how to do the research to figure out what this means. But for some reason, they don't want me involved in this. I don't know if Jerome Corsi or Roy Potter are working for the military. I don't know what's going on. But they will not communicate with me. They won't. They've shut down my YouTube channels and stuff like that. But this is what I do, guys. This is what my brain can do, is look at symbols and codes, and faster than anybody, I can figure out what they're saying. I understand gematria and symbols and codes, movies, probably better than anybody in the United States. And I would challenge anyone to what I can do. I have a very mathematic brain. My brain just figures things out. I've been like that ever since I was a kid. So, and I have an incredible memory of things. This is not bragging, but this is reality. So can please anyone contact Jerome Corsi, Roy Potter, any of these QAnon people, and tell them to put me on your radio show. For God's sake, why aren't you putting me on the radio show? It makes me think these people are gatekeepers. So there's no question in my mind that there's a couple of people online that know how to crack these codes. I'm one of them, but they're not using any of us. They're alienating us from the conversation. And that's ridiculous. You have to understand something. We are, us truthers are military intelligence. If you want to fight the war, if you want to fight the left, nobody knows how to fight the left better than we do. So as soon as the news comes out, okay, I know exactly what they're doing. Matter of fact, I could predict what they're going to do before they even do it. You know, I told you there were going to be more bombings and shootings and stuff like that. They're trying to gain control and militarize every facet of your life, whether it's shipping or schools or movie cinemas. They want to police everything, guys. And anyway, but there are certain people out there that are like precog mentality. We can see into the future. If you watch my videos, they go way back. I have not been wrong about anything. I wish I was wrong, actually, but I don't think there's not anything that I've been wrong about. Nothing. I even predict the winners of football games and Super Bowls, and nobody says anything. What they do is they shut down my channel. Oh, he predicted the Super Bowl, and I can predict who's going to win Miss America. I used to do this when I was young and when I was a teenager. I'd say that she's going to win, and she would win. I was right almost every single time. Now, when there was one time that I was wrong, I was chatting with a person online, and I think what happened is they were messing with me mentally, and I got it wrong. But I did get the runners-up. I knew who the runners-up was. I think there's only one time in my life that I missed the winner of Miss America. I can predict them every time. I do need like solitude in order to do it, when my brain reacts with somebody else's, it interferes with my ability to concentrate and focus. But I believe that the information about everything that happens in the world is in the stars and the sun and the moon, and it's in the water, it's in the air, it's in the trees, it's in everything. You got to connect to the natural law. Once you connect to these natural laws, you know who's going to win. You know what they're going to do. You know how Satan works. You know how God works. It's amazing. This is why Satan wants to separate us and put us in what they call maritime law or admiralty law, and separate us from God's law, which is the separation of God's law is the internet, by the way. It is the internet. You can see Satan's censorship, right? So I'm going off, but please somebody contact Jerome Corsi and these people and say, look, why aren't you using me? Frederick Wust, why don't you use me on your radio shows? I can tell you what these codes mean. I don't have anybody listening to my channels. They've shut me down. So they would have to cut off my cell phone if I was on a radio channel. So I've only been invited to a couple of radio channels and none of them went through. Somehow they were canceled. So see, where I live, New Orleans area, is CIA full controlled. So I am right here with the enemy, guys. I am with the enemy, and everything I do is completely CIA controlled. That's why all my videos go on to, it says it's in Birmingham, it says it's in Houston. They steal my uploads, is what they're doing. So